Right, DC Vigilante here. So, now, I'm rubbish with names, okay? But recently, this woman who is now taken over Warner Brothers, one of the big head honchos or whatever, she said that, roughly, right? She said that Warner Brothers, this is the way I read it, okay? This is the way I saw it, okay? That's not exactly her words, right? But this is what she's meaning. Or as that guy in Beverly Hills Cop said, putining. Okay. Um, what I got from it was they're going back to what Warner Brothers used to be, and taking risks when making movies, and willing to have failures and whatnot, and not feel like they have to make successful films, which is good because that means they're willing to take risks. Right? Because what we know recently, with the BVS and the Justice League and the Suicide Squad, Warner Brothers was definitely in no way wanting to risk stuff. They got involved and they thought that they knew best. Now, all this brings me back to a documentary I once watched, and it was called Empire of Dreams. Yes, that's right, it was a Star Wars documentary. You can get it. You can get this documentary, I believe, in the George Lucas Star Wars box set. I say that because I've got no intention with the recent Star Wars. So in this, and I think I don't know if you can get it on Netflix or Amazon. Anyway, it's called Empire of Dreams. And in that, it basically showed you that the directors, the makers of films, when the 70s sort of, people that took over the business had no idea how to make movies. So they went and they turned towards these upcoming directors, hence Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, and all that sort of stuff. So they were all in the one sort of, schooling and whatnot. And so they got them and they made these low budget movies and turned out to be a success. And then they've became a business by themselves due to the success of the movies. But that still left Warner Brothers with nobody in charge, because George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, the reason why they became companies themselves is because they were, they had all the hassle from the studios about what to have in their movies, and they had budget cuts and restraints and everything else, and Chewbacca wearing pants and everything else as the credits go in front of the film or after the film. So they all had that, and that's why they started with their own company, so they didn't have to answer. But then of course they became the thing that they fought against, But I believe somewhere down the line they still gave these upcoming directors a chance through their companies. But with Warner Brothers, they were still faced with people in the company that had no idea how to, make movies. So they still had to hire these people or whatnot. And again, when I work for a company and there's some of the people in charge of my company that I work for, help build ships and stuff. The head of that company moved away and was the head of the police force. Now what that has got to do with one another, I have no idea, but that's the business side of things, so they all must know. So this is what I mean. They come in, they don't know much about the work that goes into these things. They don't know about the man on the shop floor, right? They just see numbers and they try to fix it. So so they don't listen to the man on the floor. And this is what's happened with the Justice League and Zack Snyder's vision. They didn't want to take risks, they weren't listening to anybody. They saw this other company having this sort of run success, and so they tried to imitate it. And it happens in businesses. Again, with the business that I work in, we have people from other companies coming in, listening to our ideas, our incentive programs and stuff, how to motivate the men, and then they take those ideas and then they put it in their company. So, again, so hopefully that's sort of explained my idea. So she came in and she says, I want to take risks and make these films. Now, for me, but by saying all that, then what they should be doing is, right, well, if you want to take a risk, if you want to prove that you're different, then take a risk by releasing a director's vision that you interfered with already, and let it out and take a gamble with that. I've heard reports of Aquaman saying sort of the special effects were kind of done. Well, you just never know. Now, recently, I watched, and I put it on my Facebook page, DC Vigilante. Recently, Margot Robbie had a video done with Vogue. It was like 73 questions, and in it, and you can see the video on my page, and it she says, what's the most hated thing about the film industry? And she said something along the lines of creative people being controlled by non-creative people, or it was along those lines. So it's creators being controlled by non-creators or something like that. And I just thought that was brilliant. That you've got all these creators, all these creative people, and they are being not allowed to create their stuff by people that wouldn't know what art was. So this to me is a bold step for Warner Brothers. This to me is a sign, as a step in the right direction. I'm not going to say it's a step towards, say, something like release a Snyder Cut or anything else. For me, it's came far too late. A lot of damage was done, but hence we get the Joker. That was, and that is, something that was really taking a risk and taking a gamble with, and it's paid off. So, as I said in the previous video, that is a turning point for Warner Brothers. They must look at that and come, and it must tell them so many things of where to go next. It might also highlight the things that they have done wrong. And for me, the only way to right those wrongs is to bring back those people that you've wronged and allow them the security of knowing that they have a free hand of making a movie and moving on and stuff like that. And that's the way I see it. And to me, I can only see this as good news. It just came out, at the same time as, and as I say, Jason Momoa saying that's the one thing he hates about this business. You can't talk, you can't. And I think, talking is good if you can talk about it. I mean, Jason Momoa said that, oh no, he wanted to release his Snyder Cut, but the fact that they've been silenced means that they're controlling they're trying to control what we think, and I think if they had no control over the film rights, then the only thing that we would be talking about would be the director's vision. We wouldn't be talking about the company, because the company is allowing us to speak about it. allowing the actors to speak about it. You know, so that there would be like no, you know, black mark against the film company. The black mark would only be around the film, whether it be good or bad. You know, and that's where they should drive the focus to. You know, let the directors, let the actors and whatnot shine or diminish in front of our eyes, but let it be on their own, you know, two legs, right? Because when we watch these films and we see films that say a film by Zack Snyder or James Cameron, we expect their films, if it's acted by such and such, then we know that it's, you know, it's this person's fault. But with all this new media stuff coming forward, we know that it's too controlled by non-creative people. So that's my thought for today. It's a bit positive about moving forward. That's my truth. Catch you later.